Gentlemen, thank you very much.
ABC News GH. I am Abna Mante. Coming up in the headlines. Organized labor led by the Trades Union Congress has issued a stern warning to the government, threatening a nationwide strike by the end of September if a decisive action is not taken. We will hear from the members. Following the withdrawal of the incumbent Hajia Lariba Zuwaira II from the Wale Wale primary rerun, the leadership of the New Patriotic Party has unanimously selected Dr. Karibu Tia Mohammed as the parliamentary candidate for Wale Wale constituency into the 2024 general elections. Still to come in the bulletin, former Deputy Sports Minister Pius Enam Hajide has promised constituency leaders to demand a trip to the USA to watch the 2026 FIFA World Cup if they vote for him to become their Member of Parliament. We will speak to the experts. Association of Ghana Industries AGI has called on the government to strengthen the country's buffer stock, particularly the agricultural sector, to help cut imports of goods to strengthen the city. And later in international, flights have been grounded at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in Nairobi due to a strike by airport workers protesting against the planned deal between the government and a foreign investor. Many details coming up shortly. Do stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. We are live on YouTube at ABC News GH. Now into our stories. The leadership of the New Patriotic Party has unanimously selected Dr. Karibu Tia Mohammed as the parliamentary candidate for Wale Wale constituency into the 2024 general elections. Prior to this decision, Lariba Abudu, the Member of Parliament for Wale Wale, announced her withdrawal from the New Patriotic Party primaries in the constituency. In a press statement dated September 11, 2024, the General Secretary of the NPP, Justin Kodria Frimpong, said that the National Executive Committee of the NPP, at a meeting on Wednesday, has unanimously confirmed Dr. Tia Abdul Karibu Mahama as the party's parliamentary candidate for the Wale Wale constituency. Still in Wale Wale, the Executive Director for Independent Election, Security and Compliance Watchers, Richard Kumado, has condemned the recent violent clashes that have marred the NPP parliamentary primaries in Wale Wale. According to him, such incidents tend to add to the levels of threat, heightening the political tension in the country. Speaking on ABC in the morning, he stated that such happenings have the tendency to raise national security threats, particularly as the December 7 polls approaches.
Case in Ghana has become one of the major national security threats we face. And not just in Ghana, within the West Africa zone. That is why there are military takeovers and there are coup d'etats as a result of elections and election outcomes. We have a duty and a responsibility to behave properly. But this act of violence adds to the levels of threats we face already internally. And it's a national security risk assessment threat that we need to watch it carefully, because you may think it's just Wale Wale, but he has ripple effects all over the country, because these are family members that are scattered all over the country. And this is not the particular time for what we saw in Wale Wale. I think it's condemnable. I think there's no reason for that. And I think it's unfortunate. But the key actors in it need to bow their heads in shame, because they did not live to the expectations people have of them. As people seeking a higher office with high levels of responsibility, which includes public safety guarantees and security management and democracy without violence in this country. So, case in Ghana has become one of the major national security threats we face. And not just in Ghana, within the West Africa zone. That is why there are military takeovers and there are coup d'etats as a result of elections and election outcomes. We have a duty and a responsibility to behave properly. But this act of violence adds to the levels of threats we face already internally. And it's a national security risk assessment threat that we need to watch it carefully, because you may think.
Meanwhile, the Executive Director for Independent Election, Security and Compliance Watchers, Richard Kumado, has urged authorities to swiftly investigate and sanction those responsible for the recent political clashes that marred the NPP parliamentary primaries in Wale Wale. Speaking on ABC in the morning, the analyst highlighted the need for decisive action to prevent similar incidents from recurring.
Now, I think the people need to be sanctioned appropriately. Non-punishable of offenses will always rationalize bad behavior and promote antisocial tendencies in society. Inconclusive investigations has always been the bane for criminals to triumph and to prod their trade. I think investigations needed to be done. Let the culprits be arrested. Let the key actors be made to answer some questions. And let all those with authority and the power to act right, who did not, they will need to face some level of sanction. Then we can say we are taking ourselves seriously. Other than that, this democracy is not something that has happened. And the way we are running it, we'll be heading to a doom. Let me give you an example. The Apple Barometer report recently says that 9 out of 10 says that this democracy is not right, and they don't want it. 87% of people say that we are heading in the wrong direction. When I set up the Independent Election Security and Compliance Watchers, there are 4 things we do. One of them is political security risk assessment. The second one is democracy and governance risks. The third one is election security and election operation management. I'll keep the fourth one. But you could see, we've been to almost 220 constituencies in this country. Wale Wale was one of the places. And the risk was clearly there. From the first election to this particular one. The court process, you could see it, you could feel it. You speak to people, they will tell you their position. And yet we did nothing about it. And what...
Away from the NPP, let's look at some Galamsey stories. The Media Coalition Against Illegal Mining has called on the government to act swiftly to address the ongoing illegal mining crisis, which has severely affected rivers and farmlands across the country. During a press conference in Accra on Wednesday, Most Reverend Matthew Kwesi Gyamfi, president of the Catholic Bishops' Conference, echoed the urgent need for action. He expressed deep concern over the involvement of some chiefs and political figures in these illegal activities, highlighting the corruption that exacerbates the problem. The lack of political will has further exacerbated the problem, allowing illegal mining to thrive unchecked. We wish to state that Ghanaians can no longer tolerate the lip service of the government of whatever color in the fight against Galamsey, and we call for action not tomorrow but now and right from this press conference, and all hands must get on board, he stated. Joining us on the phone is Most Reverend Matthew Kwesi Gyamfi, President of the Catholic Bishops' Conference. Good afternoon, sir. Well, let's take a look at the press conference that was had.
The Archbishops and Bishops of the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference have over the years, indeed since 2009, been consistently vocal about the environmental degradation caused by illegal mining, particularly the phenomenon of Galamsey, which has unleashed devastating consequences on our country's ecosystems, water bodies, and communities. The conference is deeply concerned about the persistent and alarming levels of environmental degradation caused by such activities, and all Ghanaians, most of us, are witnesses to this. For us, in his encyclical Laudato Si, Pope Francis calls on all people to care for our common home, the earth. As stewards of creation, we have a moral responsibility to guard the environment for current and future generations. However, the indiscriminate activities of illegal miners continue to undermine this responsibility. Previous communiques. We recall our previous communiques. You can look at 2009, 2010, 2015, 2016 to 2023 that have dealt thematic areas such as the scourge of Galamsey, a threat to our nation's future. Galamsey, a call to conscience and action.
Let's go back to our story on Wale Wale and the NPP. We have joining us on the line Alhaji Masaudu, who is the third vice chair of the NPP in Wale Wale, joining us to discuss the NPP and Wale Wale. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for joining us. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, Alhaji.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you.
Okay. My apologies. Alhaji is the third vice chair of the NPP. Sir, the NPP has taken a decision to have Dr. Tia Mahama lead the NPP in Wale Wale after the issues that cropped up during the primaries. What is the way forward for the NPP?
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity, and good afternoon to your cherished listeners. The NPP has conducted a promise in Wale Wale recently about 6 months or 9 months ago when Wale Wale 1 was having issue. The matter has been sent to court. As I'm talking now, the court has ruled on the matter that the New Patriotic Party Wale Wale constituency should go back and rerun the election again. So, in that case, upon that rerun, that the second highest decision-making body of the New Patriotic Party have appointed me as the chairman of the election committee, that I should lead the team from Accra here to go and conduct the rerun of the Wale Wale constituency election. As the election committee chairman and the national third vice chairman of the New Patriotic Party, I took that opportunity to went to Wale Wale. I went to Wale Wale on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There was a funeral there. So the election took over on Monday. Monday, early in the morning, around 10 o'clock that the election started. Voting was going on successfully until when voting ended around 4 p.m. We start sorting the ballot. We are almost done with the sorting, and one guy called Kamara, who came and distract the voting process and destroy some ballot papers. It was a confusion between he, Kamara, and one agent of Fariku, one agent of Kabiru, who were having misunderstanding there and destroy some of the ballot papers. At the point of this riot, the police could have the control of the crowd, and indeed they have apprehended the two of the sad disturbances, or those who caused the confusion there. The sad Kamara was being apprehended by the police and handcuffed and sent out and sent away to the police station. So we gather all the papers and send it to police station. We sorted it there. We were about to count it. So there was a counter argument whether or not we should count it. So after sorting it, the Electoral Commission said he cannot count the sad ballot because some of the ballots have spoiled. Based on the spoiled ballot, which he cannot identify who ballot paper is this, whether it's for Mr. A or Mr. B. So in this case, the entire election is unconclusive. So he will stand by their law to annul the entire election. So the EC yesterday cancelled the entire election and gave the matter back to the New Patriotic Party. And you know this is an internal election. So after when the EC annulled the entire election and gave it back to the party as a national third vice chairman, and then the election committee chairman, I have to communicate to the national leadership. Then we have brought the matter to the national leadership. So quickly, the General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party has called for emergency NEC today. So we have met the council members. We have met NEC this morning, 10 a.m., and conclude the matter, and it was a unanimous decision for the party. So we were there that we had a letter from the incumbent MP for Wale Wale of she resigning or stepping down, of not contesting the seat again. So, and the party there, I think what the MP did has made the problem solved in the NEC. The President of the Republic has applauded the woman. The council members have applauded the woman. All of us have applauded the woman. The Wale Wale Council of Elders also applaud the woman. So together with the NEC, we decided that so far as the woman has stepped down, there is no case again. So in this case, there were two. Then the NEC approved the other candidate, who is Dr. Kabiru, to go unopposed or uncontested for the parliamentary seat of the Wale Wale constituency.
Salaji, so after receiving the letter from Honorable Lariba Abudu, has the leadership of the NPP reached out to her?
The leadership of the NPP applaud her for her diligent thinking and the honorable thing that she did. That show how patriotic she is. That show how patient she is. That show has unity she wants. That show has she had the party at heart. So we applaud her and we are happy because by now, we don't know the decision of the NEC. whether we are going back to Waliwale to conduct a new election or we are going to rule on one. It can also bring chaos. If you monitor the election yesterday, it was very, 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 tension was high there. So in this case, we applaud the woman and we pray for her. May the Almighty God guide her and give her what she wants.
Aji, the issues that cropped up at Waliwale obviously means that there are cracks in the fabric of the NPP. What are you going to do to seal those cracks?
Issue? The issue, I don't know any issue. What issue? What issue, Pop?
Alhaji, someone went and tried to distort the election process. That led to the issue. And you have said that up until the meeting of the leadership, you were not so clear about what you were going to do. So Honorable Laraba stepping down has actually made things easier. So I'm asking that the cracks that could have caused what happened, how is the NPP going to seal it ahead of the elections?
What happened in Waliwale yesterday, it was one guy that attacked Kamara with one agent of Kabiru. There were two people that has caused these things. So the party don't know, Kamara was not an agent. We don't know how he managed to enter there, so to cause this. That is the reason why the police apprehended him there. The matter is in the police custody. We are waiting for the police investigation so that the law will deal with the guy. For the side of the party, the unity is already in hand because our problem was going to the contest and the woman has stepped down. Now, the only thing the party will do is to call Kabiru, call the woman, merge them, let the woman know so far as she resigned, it is her duty, it is her honorable duty to support Kabiru, campaign for Kabiru, to make sure that she helped Kabiru to win the seat for the presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party. Second, the two of them should merge, should work hard, not only winning the parliamentary candidate, not only winning parliamentary seat, to win the presidential seat as well. So now I don't think there's any issue again. All issue or all matter has put to rest. What the woman did has shown, has clearly killed any incident, any confusion or anything that may bring that may compromise our victory. I think to compromise our victory, what the woman did, I think NPP Waliwale seat is very safe for the New Patriotic Party.
All right. Alhaji, you are saying that Honorable Abudu should merge with Dr. Tia Mahama so that you can get the victory that you are looking for in Waliwale.
You say Honorable who?
Honorable Abudu.
Abudu is who?
Honorable Laraba Zuwaira Abudu.
Yeah, I'm saying that now what the party is looking forward is that Honorable Laraba to merge.
So that was Alhaji Masawudu, the third vice chair of the NPP, and he's spoken extensively on the decision that came up after the issue in the Waliwale constituency when the election results were declared null and void. The parliamentary primary election results were declared null and void. We understand and we know that the incumbent has stepped aside, which has led to Dr. Tia Mahama being acclaimed as the parliamentary candidate for the Waliwale constituency. We are still on, and hello, Alhaji. Alhaji is still on the line.
I'm listening. I'm on the line.
Yes, Alhaji. So I was asking that as the incumbent, the NP, has stepped aside for Dr. Tia to go on, what is the party going to do to make sure that she is still with the party? We know incidences of incumbents going independent after they are not leading anymore. What are you going to do? What is the NPP going to do to make sure that
No,
you still have
case,
her with you?
No, in this case, initially, the woman was agitating and refused not to step down and even send the matter to court. But today, willingly, the woman willingly have accepted to step down, not only because of Kabiru. She mentioned 3 things. She said she's stepping down, one, for the interest of the party, the entire party, the New Patriotic Party. Second, for the interest of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the President of the Republic of Ghana. And thirdly, the interest of her own brother, Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, which the party and then all sympathizers, MPP sympathizers, pray December, inshallah, he should be elected as the President of the Republic. So,
we have
she stepped down.
MPs say that they are stepping down. And beyond stepping down, they have said that they will also stick to the party. But after that, they have gone independent.
There is no independent in Walwale. Nobody is going for independent. She stepped down willingly and she pledged to support Kabiru. I'm telling you, it will be possible. The woman is going to campaign out, to campaign vigorously for Kabiru to win the seat. The woman liked the seat. It's because the woman liked the seat. That is the reason why the woman stepped down. Because she knows there was a rumor that if she refused or if in case the rule has gone in her favor, Kabiru will go independent. That was the rumors. But Kabiru didn't mention any independent matter. That was the rumors. So it's the same rumors that people may think the woman will go independent. Let me assure you, the woman has no that intention in her mind. No day that the woman sits and even dream of going independent. Walwale has no any independent candidate. Walwale will have one parliamentary candidate who is Kabiru, and we are sure Kabiru, inshallah, will win the seat of Walwale for New Patriotic Party.
Well, Alhaji, before you go, you seem very confident about this, being so sure that there won't be any independent candidate. Is it because Honorable Laraba was coerced?
No, I'm telling you that Honorable Laraba is a party. Look, let me tell you, all those sitting MPs who lose their seat and they said they are going for independent, they have been ungrateful to the party. I am telling you, they have been ungrateful to the party because it's the same party. Some of those sitting MPs who lost their parliamentary elections to others, it's the same people those people who won the seat by other sitting parliament, and they didn't go independent. And today, if you are sitting MP and you lost to your brother, and you are saying you are going independent, that shows the high level of your high level of your ungrateful, which means you are ungrateful to yourself and grateful to the party. So I don't think Haja Laraba will be ungrateful to the party by saying she will be going independent. Okay. They have no that intention. They have no that intention to go independent. So in this case, Haja Laraba stepped down willingly with no any condition. There was no any condition. She stepped down willingly, unconditionally, and pledged to support Kabiru to win the seat of Walwale, to shame the NDC, those who are backbiting.
Thank you so much, Alhaji.
Those who are.
That was Alhaji Masaudu, the third vice chair of the NPP. Away from the NPP and the Walewale politics, organized labor led by the Trade Unions Congress has issued a stern warning to the government, threatening a nationwide strike by the end of September if a decisive action is address the escalating Galamsey crisis. In a statement issued by Joshua Ansah, Secretary General of the TUC, Organized Labour demanded that the immediate declaration of a state of emergency in all areas affected by illegal mining be done. The group also called for a halt to all mining activities in forest reserves, the establishment of special courts to fast-track the prosecution of Galamsey operators, and the deployment of the military to remove and destroy all mining equipment in affected areas. General Secretary of TUC, Kenneth Kumsin, addressed the media. Also, this comes on the back of the issue of Galamsey, the turbidity of our waters, and the issue that we are losing so much on our cocoa because of Galamsey activities happening in our forest reserves and affecting our water bodies. Let's listen to the Deputy General Secretary of TUC when he addressed the media.
That we have about 200,000 here. The perpetrators of this what we call genocidal activity, illegal mining, Galamsey, constitute about 200,000, which is about 0.67% of the total 30 million population. So you can imagine how small that number is and the kind of devastation they are causing to all of us. Again, we're also told that already about 2.5 million hectares of our forest reserves already decimated. Now that 2.5 million hectares, if you convert it, is about 25,000 square kilometers. That is about the size of Rwanda. So you are looking at a crisis situation where a whole country can just disappear because of some few greedy bastards. So we have taken a decision. And let me read just a portion of what Organized Labour has resolved. Recognizing all the issues, the turbidity levels, and we also told that the acceptable range, as mentioned by what you call it, the Ghana Water Corporation, of the level of, if you like, pollution or disturbance.
So that was Kenneth Kumsin, the Deputy Secretary General of the TUC. Still on Galamsey, the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners has announced plans to redeploy its task force to areas where illegal mining or Galamsey has resumed, causing severe environmental degradation and water pollution. This decision follows a hiatus in the task force's operations due to logistical challenges and the shooting of its commander, Major Don Chebe, by illegal miners. The task force had previously made significant strides in combating illegal mining, including the arrest of over 800 dredgers and reduction in water turbidity levels from 3,000 to 50. Godwin Niama, speaking at a press conference held in Accra, explained how the operation differs from illegal mining.
There is clear difference in small-scale mining and those who are perpetrating the illegality. Illegal mining is someone who is mining at areas where they have not been given concessions. Small-scale miners are not given concessions in forest reserves. Anyone you see in the forest reserve mining without permit or with permit by prospecting and maybe box sampling, they are all perpetrating illegality. And these are not small-scale miners because the law do not support small-scale miners to mine in forest reserves. Illegal mining is illegal mining. It can be carried out in both large, small, and in both large, like large-scale companies that have prospecting leases who allocates or apportions some of their concessions for people to work as tributers when they've not been issued the license to do that. In Ghana, I think we have 2 companies that issue license to do that. We have Extra Goods that can do tributator system, and the Ghana Consolidated GCD, that's the Akotia Diamonds. So they operate under tributor section. The Ghana National Association is not happy with the PaySats, which our water bodies are polluted, because high turbidity affects our operations. For you to recover gold, you need very good clean water with low turbidities to be able to recover your gold.
President of the Ghana Journalists Association, Albert Jumfor, has dared presidential aspirants of the various political parties to declare their stance and unwavering support to the fight against Galamsey. He made this known in Accra during a class action against the menace by organized labor.
The president must declare a state of emergency over our water bodies and get the military to clear everyone found on the water bodies. i.e. mining on the water bodies is illegal, and as we all know. 2, all planned and active mining concessions overlapping with river buffers should be abrogated, and all mining activities within 100 meters buffer of all rivers and streams should be halted immediately by the president. Failure of which the president must implement the full force of Act 995 without fear or favor of political color and status in the society. 3, almost all water bodies take their sources from the forest reserves, so all entry permits given to mine in protected globally significant biodiversity areas, GSBAs, must also be abrogated. 4, repeal LI 2462 immediately. 5, all the presidential candidates of the political parties vying for elections should publicly declare their total support for this crisis response. Failure to do so, it means you don't have the nation at heart and you cannot lead. This is a challenge to them, and we ensure that they do so. These demands will be reviewed in a fortnight, i.e. 2 weeks, to see what actions have been taken, and our next line of action will be communicated to the media. Ghanaians across this country deserve far more than what we are witnessing today. Every single day that the president fails to protect our human and constitutional right to clean, safe drinking water and a healthy environment, which is swore an oath to uphold, he fails in his duty to every one of us. All our leaders who swore an oath to uphold their fiduciary responsibility to safeguard our natural heritage and tackle the Galamsey crisis have also tragically let us down. And I stress on that it is not only the battle for the president, but all our leaders who swore an oath to uphold their fiduciary, this is their constitutional mandate, is the obligation.
The National Vice President of the University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG, Professor Victor Mogre, has defended the association's involvement in the fight against illegal mining, commonly known as Galamsey. In an exclusive interview on ABC in the morning, Professor Mogre emphasized that one of the core responsibilities of university lecturers is community service.
Have any effect on our classroom engagement on all is one of the responsibilities. As a university professor, as a university lecturer, as I said, one of the key roles we are supposed to do is to have community service. We engage policy stakeholders. For example, myself, I do research that I work with Ghana Health Service, UNICEF, all of that. That I engage them. I engage with Ghana Education Service. All of these are services that we are doing. And I don't see the Galamsey call to be different from some of those activities that I'm doing as have any effect on.
This justification follows the recent UTAG press statement where the association issued an ultimatum to the government demanding the complete ban of illegal mining by the end of September. Failure to do so, UTAG warns, will result in a nationwide industrial strike action. The association's stance highlights growing concern over the environmental and economic impacts of galamsey across the country. Still on galamsey, the New Patriotic Party has something to say. His vice presidential candidate, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, has pledged that a future NPP government would return all seized excavators confiscated during the crackdown on illegal mining. Speaking to the chiefs and residents of Pristi-Ahuni Valley and Mpoho in the Western region, Dr. Opoku Prempeh also emphasized that the NPP flag bearer, Dr. Mamadou Bawumia, has no intention of banning small-scale mining. This assurance comes in response to the mounting calls for the government to impose a ban on small-scale mining to curb the environmental damage caused by illegal mining activities, particularly two water bodies. Dr. Opoku Prempeh reassured the mining communities that the NPP is committed to allowing small-scale miners to operate freely, provided their activities do not harm the environment or pollute water bodies. Well, the NPP is saying that they intend to make sure that small-scale miners mine well, finds justification within the bold solutions for the future when Dr. Mamadou Bawumia, during his first phase of the tour, spoke with miners, small-scale miners, and told them that he was looking forward to regulating their mining activities. And we also heard not long ago that the Association of Small-Scale Miners have said that they are not galamsey operators. So these are some of the things that we are looking at as the conversation about mining keeps coming up, especially on galamsey. Away from galamsey, let's look at some other local stories. Former Deputy Sports Minister Pius Enam Hajide has promised constituents in Esojaman a trip to the USA to watch the 2026 FIFA World Cup if they vote for him to become their Member of Parliament. In an attempt to persuade the residents, he referenced the infamous Australia versus scandal, indicating how he was able to send individuals to Australia for the Commonwealth Games during his tenure at the Sports Ministry. Pius emphasized that if he is handed the mandate, he will ensure that every youth in the constituency travels to their desired country in the world.
At Australia, na no muni masembi. Ufri Ghana, na uko Australia. Ubetina eloplemo 18 hours. Enukrano nipabi etumidi mechi yako. World Cup eba. Aye babebo afifufura aye babewure mu yi ye bebo no ewa America enunu 7 hours pe na we do America nanadom se mo pese mu manomo enko America no mu nko bobra na sike bi emrefia to abane mame uye bebo no ewa paso uye bebo no ewa desase uye bebo no ewa Newtown na pese utukwa me Pius me be ye we empia me di ubetukwa Midubeko na mino mintise ampem na yamawa kwenya na wodi usako se udemre frem na eduma na yedi ase usase bua nepa no ontumi ho ano twina obi foforo so embe ya usimi twe konongo kaya mintisa etimeno uye bebu no na opese utukwan uko Germany uko America, uko UK, uko France, baby a upese ubeko bia no, ubuamia, misu minya kwenya, misu mebuao.
Regarding the Australian visa controversy, Ghana's participation in the 2018 Commonwealth Games was overshadowed by a visa fraud scandal. Pius Enam Hajide allegedly aided individuals to obtain visas while posing as journalists covering the game. More than 60 persons were deported from Australia for posing as journalists in order to enter the country during the Games in April 2018. The scandal led to the suspension of the then Director General of the National Sports Authority, Robert Safo Mensah, and Deputy Minister for Youth and Sports, Pius Enam Hajide. The Bureau of National Investigation launched an investigation into the alleged fraud, and President Akufo-Addo later announced the clearance of Hajide. Still on some local stories, Kwame Adofo, a constitutional lawyer, has cast doubt on the effectiveness of the National Democratic Congress's planned nationwide demonstration scheduled for September 17, 2024. The protest aimed at addressing concerns about the accuracy and integrity of the voter register for the upcoming general elections is being questioned by Adofo, who argued that the party has not fully explored the legal avenues available to them. Speaking on ABC in the morning, Adofo remarked that while the NDC has the right to protest, their efforts will not yield the desired results.
Attention business owners, it's time to take your business to the next level with ABC News GH Television's mega promo. From August 1st to October 31st, 2024, we're offering you unbeatable deals to advertise your products and services. Don't miss out on this amazing chance to reach more people and grow your brand. For more details, give us a call on 050-993-0360. Remember, terms and conditions apply. Follow us on social media at ABC News GH _.
Best Inventor Ghana Season 3 is here. ScanBrain Limited, organizers of the Best Inventor Ghana, has opened registration for the third season of this innovative show. Who can enter? Manufacturers of innovative solutions. Apologize for the technical hitch. Let's listen to lawyer Kwame Adofo on the NDC.
And the law, as you have clearly enumerated, is the provisions which was passed by the parliament of this country, the only body with the right to make laws. And you can therefore feel a say that clearly in the circumstances, NDC has not exhausted all the legal framework or the steps that is required of them. And it means that even after this demonstration, which they are entitled to in a developing and civilized society, they are entitled to demonstration. But is it going to achieve anything outside the law? The answer is no, because the EC will be taken immediately to court if it is to succumb, so to speak, to any demands which is not set out in the law.
Political researcher Salam Insian has shed light on the significant impact the government's domestic debt exchange program DDEP could have on the upcoming elections. According to the researcher, the policy is likely to play a critical role in shaping voter preferences at the polls, following a survey by Global Info Analytics projecting a shift in voter decision in the upcoming December 7 polls.
Class, okay. The middle class, I mean, it's not for nothing that the theory or the anecdotal evidence that MPP wins mostly at the universities, even in both police and all that. They are the middle class, okay? It means that a policy like a debt exchange will affect them, will cause them to be disgruntled. Some of them will not turn out to vote. Some of them will be so disgruntled and upset that they will decide to take out their government by voting for their main opposition, which is their main opponent, which is JM. Okay, so I think something like a policy that did not favor them, and I can easily say that because I talk to a lot of people, I mean my peers who are MP people who are not voting, who are refusing to vote. They are not. Some are refusing to vote. Some are saying they'll vote JM. Okay, and they have been disgruntled by the economy generally, and specifically by the debt exchange. Now, with the middle class, because they are influential people, they also influence people they support. So if, for instance, myself, I support my brothers and my sisters, my cousins and all that in school and all that, and their agenda has impacted me so much that I can't support them as much as I do. They will begin to find out why, and if I tell them, it will also cause them to be disgruntled. So I think that the disgruntlement at the base of MPPs is causing this kind of issue.
Away from the local stories, let's take a look at some business news. Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, Chonam Akpelu, has called on the government to strengthen the country's buffer stock, particularly the agricultural sector. Akpelu made this recommendation in an interview on Business Fix earlier today on ABC in the morning. He said that our over-reliance on importation of raw materials to power our industries has put pressure on the nation to get more dollars to run factories. He believes that the strengthening of the buffer stock is a critical measure needed to boost the performance of the cedi against the dollar, which currently stands at 16 cedis to $1. He also mentioned that producing goods locally rather than importing will go a long way to stabilizing the cedi.
And so our view is that it appears that it's getting worse, not better. And so if you're asking us that how are we able to get ready to mitigate the situation, the only solution now is, number one, to beef up our buffer stock or agricultural sector to ensure that at least we are able to source some of the raw materials from within the country. Do you know that hotels in Accra import vegetables from Netherlands and abroad? Do you know that we are not even able to produce enough vegetables for our hotels? Do you know that we are importing tomato from Burkina Faso? Okay. Do you know that we are importing sausage from Ukraine? So I'm saying that it's so serious, and we have everything it takes to be able to produce these things locally. So the immediate solution is that if we can quickly get back to work and produce most of these raw materials we need locally.
The AGI executive has also advised that the economy be rid of the excessive dollarization that has plagued it. He emphasized that the economy must always be protected, and for it to be stabilized, payment of goods and services in dollars must cease with immediate effect. Chenra Makpelu said that we can't be focused on trading money at the expense of the growth of the real economy.
If you want to rent certain houses, they quote in dollars. That has to stop with immediate effect. Because once you dollarize that, it means that you need a lot more. What we're fighting for is the turpitude of the economy. The economy must be protected at all times. If you go to South Africa, you better change money at the airport or go to a forest bureau to change money. Because nobody in South Africa would accept any currency apart from the rand. Nobody, not for anything. Everything is quoted in the rand. Every transaction happens in the rand. That is how they are able to stabilize their economy. If you go to Barbados in the Caribbean, there's nothing like Forest Bureau.
The Bank of Ghana has introduced a new coin.
US dollars into the economy,
it's a two-gun,
but you never get US dollars back. Nobody gives US dollars back for anything. Every transaction is done in their local currency. That is how they protect their economy. That is why since 1984 to today, Barbados dollars is $2 Barbados to $1 US. It's been stabilized since 1984 to today. If you go to Bahamas, the Bahamas dollar is $1 US to one Bahamas dollar. It's because of some of these measures. There's nothing like Forest Bureau. Because the Forest Bureau operation is profiteering. It's just benefiting the few who understand this type of business. But we can't be focused on trading money at the expense of the growth of the real economy. The real sector is the one that needs to see growth. So we have to forget about comfort and all of that and ensure that some of these hard policies are put in place to promote the growth of the economy.
That's all for business. Let's look at some sports stories. In sports, former Black Stars player and captain Asamoah Gyan has denounced his membership of the NPP to focus on humanitarian work. In a statement posted on his social media handle Instagram, the national team's all-time scorer said he admits that he has not been completely fair to the youth and people of Ghana in the past. While Gyan did not disclose the reason for this move, he expressed his desire to focus on humanitarian efforts and continue helping the youth of Ghana in his own way. His decision to avoid political involvement comes as he wishes for a peaceful election in the country. He emphasized that his future actions will not be influenced by any political party. Still in sports, the Confederation of African Football, CAF, has withdrawn its approval for the Baba Yara Sports Stadium in Kumasi due to technical infractions, including an unsuitable playing field. The stadium received a conditional approval to host Ghana's game against Angola in the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers on September 5. CAF identified several critical issues with the stadium, most notably the poor condition of the pitch. The field had deteriorated significantly, featuring uneven surfaces, poor drainage, and inadequate grass covering, rendering it unsuitable for the competitive international matches. These inadequacies were highlighted during the recent fixture, leading to CAF's decision to revoke the stadium's Category 3 status. The stadium holds over 40,000 spectators and has hosted numerous matches including World Cup qualifiers and AFCON fixtures, no longer meets CAF's requirements needed for international competition. In a statement, CAF expressed disappointment with the condition of the facility and has recommended that Ghana's authorities conduct a comprehensive assessment of all major international stadia to ensure they meet technical standards. They further advised that immediate engagement with experienced companies be done to refurbish the Baba Yara Sports Stadium and bring it up to CAF and FIFA standards. Still in Sport, the former boyfriend of Ugandan Olympic athlete Rebecca Cheptegei, who killed her by setting her on fire, has himself died from burns sustained in the attack. A Kenyan hospital official has said Diskin Ndiema ambushed the marathon runner as she returned home from church more than a week ago. He then doused her with petrol and set her ablaze. Local administrators said that the two had been in conflict over a small piece of land in northwest Kenya where Cheptegei lived and trained. Ndiema died Monday night at the intensive care unit where, according to the hospital, he had been admitted with burns on more than 40% of his body. He developed respiratory failure as a result of the severe airway burns and sepsis that led to his eventual death on Monday evening at 6:30 p.m. despite life-saving measures. A press release from Moitek Teaching and Referral Hospital said Cheptegei died last Thursday, 4 days after she was attacked. She suffered burns to more than 80% of her body. Let's take some international news. Flights have been grounded at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in Nairobi due to a strike by airport workers protesting against the planned deal between the government and a foreign investor. The strike began on Wednesday, September 11, 2024. The specific terms of the proposed deal between the government and Adani Group, a foreign investor that sparked the airport workers' strike, includes a 30-year build and operate agreement for Adani Group to renovate and upgrade Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, construction of an additional runway and terminal. Adani Group would run the airport for 30 years. Potential job losses and inferior terms and condition of service for remaining airport workers as claimed by the Kenya Airport Workers Union. Introduction of non-Kenyan workers as stated by the Kenya Aviation Workers Union. Hundreds of workers from the Kenya Airport Workers Union demonstrated against the deal, citing concerns over job losses and inferior terms and conditions of service for those who would remain. Kenya Airways announced flight delays and possible cancellations due to the ongoing strike. The situation is ongoing and travelers are advised to check with their airlines for updates on flight schedules and status. In the United States of America, a flash poll conducted by CNN following Tuesday's presidential debate shows that most viewers felt Harris outperformed Trump. However, the perception of both candidates remained largely unchanged. Around 6 in 10 debate watchers believe that Harris came out on top in Tuesday's presidential debate, while about 4 in 10 felt that Trump did a better job. Before the debate, viewers were evenly split on who they thought would win. However, the vast majority of debate watchers, whose views do not necessarily represent the broader voting public, said that the debate would not affect their vote, and overall perceptions of the candidates remained largely the same. Opinions on Trump, whether positive or negative, didn't change much, while Harris saw a small increase in favorable views after the debate. Harris emerged from the debate with more trust on issues like abortion and protecting democracy, while Trump held his edge on matters such as the economy and immigration. Another debate has been scheduled to take place between vice presidential candidates J.D. Vance and Tim Walz on Tuesday, October 1, 2024.
Donald Trump was fired by 81 million people. So let's be clear about that. And clearly he is having a very difficult time processing that. But we cannot afford to have a president of the United States who attempts, as he did in the past, to upend the will of the voters in a free and fair election. And I'm going to tell you that I have traveled the world as Vice President of the United States, and world leaders are laughing at Donald Trump. I have talked with military leaders, some of whom worked with you, and they say you're a disgrace. And when you then talk in this way in a presidential debate and deny what over and over again are court cases you have lost because you did in fact lose that election, it leads one to believe that perhaps we do not have in the candidate to my right the temperament or the ability to not be confused about fact. That's deeply troubling, and the American people deserve better.
I'll give you 1 minute to respond, Mr. President.
Let me just say about world leaders. Viktor Orban, one of the most respected men, they call him a strong man. He's a tough person, smart. Prime Minister of Hungary. They said, why is the whole world blowing up? 3 years ago it wasn't. Why is it blowing up? He said, because you need Trump back as president. We're playing with World War III, and we have a president that we don't even know if he's... Where is our president? We don't even know if he's a president.
And just to clarify
they
here...
They threw him out of a campaign like a dog. We don't even know. Is he our president? But we have a president,
Mr. President,
that doesn't know he's alive.
I want to get your thoughts on support for Ukraine in this moment, but also, as Commander-in-Chief, if elected, how would you deal with Vladimir Putin, and would it be any different from what we're seeing from President Biden?
Well, first of all, it's important to remind the former president you're not running against Joe Biden, you're running against me. I believe the reason that Donald Trump says that this war would be over within 24 hours is because he would just give it up. Someone who cares about you and is not putting themselves first. I intend to be a president for all Americans and focus on what we can do over the next 10 and 20 years to build back up our country by investing right now in you, the American people.
So she just started by saying she's going to do this, she's going to do that, she's going to do all these wonderful things. Why?
That's all for international news. Now, some entertainment news. Asante-Hene Otumfuo Osei Tutu II praised Ghanaian high life sensation Kofi Kinata during his address at this year's Ghana Bar Association's General Conference. While addressing the gathering, Otumfuo referenced Kinata's popular hit, Susuka, specifically the phrase Obinyawaye, to emphasize the importance of embracing and appreciating Ghana's unique identity. He pointed out that many African nations look up to Ghana, wishing to emulate its strengths despite the challenges the country faces. This royal recognition has thrilled Kofi Kinata, who took to social media to express his excitement and gratitude, sharing the memorable moment with his fans. Receiving such praise from the Asante-Hene is a major honor for any Ghanaian artist, and Kinata is understandably elated. We apologize for the delay in sound. That's all for the news this afternoon, but before we go, a recap of our top stories. Organized labor led by the Trade Union Congress has issued a stern warning to the government, threatening a nationwide strike by the end of September if decisive action is not taken. Withdrawal of incumbent Hajia Lariba Zureratu from the Wale Wale primary rerun, the leadership of the New Patriotic Party has unanimously selected Dr. Karibu Tia Mahama as the parliamentary candidate for the Wale Wale constituency into the 2024 general elections. Former Deputy Sports Minister Pius Enam Hajide has promised constituents in Isojaman a trip to the USA to watch the 2026 FIFA World Cup if they vote for him to become their Member of Parliament. The Association of Ghana Industries has called on government to strengthen the country's buffer stock, particularly the agricultural sector, to help cut imports of goods to strengthen the cedi. flights have been grounded at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in Nairobi due to a strike by airport workers protesting a planned deal between the government and a foreign investor. Thank you for joining us. For more news, visit us on www.abcnewsgh.com. Follow and interact with us on social media at abcnewsgh_. I am Abuna Mante.